Okay, let's see how that sound works this time. If you can hear this, go ahead and give me a thumbs up.
Good afternoon. Let me run this phone down before we get started. It's only ring, but well, hope everyone is safe and enjoying what they can of today after last night's storms. It was really a serious event. Thank goodness we didn't have any fatalities. We had 3 injuries, and I'll go ahead and I'll go through with my update first, and then I'll give you a briefing of different things, different roads that are still closed, and give you a little update on what we're doing and what's happening out there. I do want to remind you that Governor Kemp, he will have a live update today at 4 o'clock. Evan will, of course, be showing you that, and we'll show it right. You're going to stream it on our webpage, right? Just like always. And I think Georgia Public Network, Public Television, will also have that if you have cable. Governor Kemp also has declared a state of emergency due to last night's severe weather. It says this state of emergency will coexist with our state of emergency for the COVID-19. We've also put a link on our website to this website where you can actually go in and understand what we're talking about. We've also added a link just this morning to GEMA's damage assessment form website, and it also has their Facebook page on. If you've sustained any property damage during last night's storms, they're asking you to please take photos and fill out this form using the provided link. You can go on our website and it'll explain to you what this is all about. They're trying to map it and map all the injuries and also the damage to the property. Of course, the last we talked, at 3 o'clock yesterday, we mentioned, the Cloudland Canyon and it being open and all. The sheriff and Robin and I didn't get to meet this morning because of these storms, but we will later on this evening or in the morning discussing our alternates with that. We'll listen to the governor today to see if he does any changing as far as closing the park or any other adjustments that might possibly help. But we'll let you know tomorrow on that. What's going on, and keep you up on that. Had some questions about the as we did the other day, but I think these people had not watched their update the other day when we discussed the lineman college. That's a big issue with Dade County because that's 200 plus men and women that come into our county from all over the country, possibly all over the world. And we had a lengthy meeting with those with the people that own the college the other day, and it was a Skype type meeting. We were actually online, but and we've they got a really good plan as far as quarantining these young men before they come in here, checking your fevers and all that, and actually even when they get here, having them more or less not necessarily quarantined to their quarters, but you won't see them out in the community as much as a normal class. But we'll this class, they're wanting to bring them back in May, possibly the middle of May. We'll know more about that next week, and we're going to try to work with them if possible, as far as being agreeable or not agreeable. Their plan it sounded really good, but we're not going to do anything to to actually bring anything more into the county than we need to from these people, because they are from all over the country, and we have had a lot of calls about this, concerned people, and so you have a right to be concerned about it. So we will keep you up on that, and they are like I said, that's a lot of people. Well, you can tell right now the difference in the traffic. Go at lunch and in the evenings and morning, so you know how many people this is. So we'll keep you up on that also. I mentioned the Cloudland Canyon. I'll go into our COVID numbers. In the state of Georgia, there was 12,452 confirmed cases. That's up from 12,452 yesterday. So, is that right? Is that correct, Carrie? Stayed the same. And research that, because I looked about 2 hours ago and it was a little different. Anyway, Dade County, we actually stayed the same. That's really good. 13,315. Okay, that was just a minute. Okay, that sounds more right. So they're at 13,315. Okay, and they were up from 12,452. We're the same in Dade, 2. We have 6 in Walker. That's the same. Catoosa, they went up 1. Chattooga, they went up 1. Catoosa has 13. Chattooga has 7. Whitfield County, they went up 2. They were up to 26. They were 24. Floyd County, they went from 108 to 111. Gordon County, 35 to 39. Bartow went from 212 to 215. And all in all, even though it's still going up, it's really that's like yesterday and today, that's really not compared to what's been happening in the last few weeks, in the last few days. These are really better reports. So we may be getting closer and closer to that curve, hopefully. Also, there were 665 unknown confirmed cases in the state of Georgia. And as we said before, that these could be anywhere. At present, we have 462 deaths. That's up from 433 yesterday. That's statewide. And our Tennessee counties are joining counties. Hamilton County went from 105 to 107. Marion County, 24 to 25. Grundy County, 21 to 23. Sequatchie still stays the same at 1. Meigs County stays the same at 3. Bradley, the same at 31. And they had 101 deaths, and that was the same as of yesterday, 24 hours. So even the Tennessee counties that are closest to us here, they're nothing like they were a few weeks ago. I mean, even a week ago. So, if you look at this, it's really a fairly good report. Jackson County, which is one of our neighbors, they went from 22 to 26. DeKalb County, 23 to 27. And so far, there's 96 deaths in the state of Alabama. That's up from 93 yesterday. Hopefully we're getting close to that curve, and maybe it'll start going back the other way in another week or so. Let's see here. Is Alex, is he coming? Is he in? Okay. Still in the meeting, okay. I'll give you a little update from last night's storms. We, of course, I know most of you, if not all of you, realize what we went through since the last night and on into this morning. We still have several roads that are closed, and that's due to we're waiting on the Georgia Power, which has a large team of people in here. They're staging at the high school, and some of the tree people are staging down at the Four Fields or at our sports complex. And as soon as we're waiting on, as soon as they turn a road loose to us and tell us that the lines are clean and don't have electricity on them, our men are ready to go in it and then open them up. So we have roughly 11 now that we're waiting just for that reason. We have 1, 2, 3. We got 4 roads right now still closed with flooding. The good news there is in the last 45 minutes the creek is actually going down, and it's going down pretty fast. So hopefully we can have those roads back open. We'll inspect them before we do open them, make sure there's no slides or anything in them. And so hopefully, around Creek Road, Mason Road, Cave Springs, all those roads, and actually up to hang gliders, we can get those back open shortly as it does drop. Let's see here. We have one of the roads that, in particular, that we're really having a lot of problem with people, getting out and just riding around and looking at. I've had several calls in the last hour about this. Is over in the Cloudland Estates, and it seems to be a magnet for people just out riding and looking, and that is a really a mess over there right now. And in Georgia Power, they've got trucks in it all over that place right there. And if you don't live there or have direct business, don't go over there right now. Really, it's really serious. You really don't need to anywhere in the county. You need to stay home. But that place right there, it's one road in, one road out, and there's already been some really close calls over there. And we have opened our transfer station, the backside of it, for brush debris to be brought in. We opened that about 3 or 4 hours ago, and that's for people, cleaning up their own yards and trying to have a place to put it. But we do caution you on doing your, like when you're working in your yard, especially on your larger trees and limbs. There could be, if there's any power line at all touching that at all, you could be electrocuted, and so. Be careful, if you're actually in your own yard. And I also mentioned this morning. In fact, we had a guy that got a little tingle to himself, got shocked over in a part of the city there from a generator that was actually running. I mentioned that this morning because a lot of people, they do hook a generator back into their 200-amp box or whatever. And if it's not one of the actual OSHA approved or approved, if it doesn't have a disconnect that will actually shut that power off, it could feed a transmission line outside. Even a power worker, a line worker, could actually get electrocuted or killed because of a small generator, because it'll backfeed a line. And so just be careful with that, because a lot of people look up at the breaker, at the pole, and they say, well, it's kicked out, so I don't have power on those lines. That don't mean anything. So just be really careful on that. We did have an issue with the railroad down with the train last night. It came in about 3:15 and had to come to a sudden stop going south. They had a massive amount of trees across North Fork Southern there. I think they've got that cleaned. I did not call before it came on there. I should have, but we had a lot of other stuff going on. But hopefully they've got the main lines clean, and the subdivision over by the high school should be open. If not, the gate is open where you can go and come. And as I said, that water is going down as we speak. We have a lot of numbers here for you to call, like Georgia Power, the 188 number, the EPB if you live on the mountain, that's a 423. Alabama Power, Carrie's got all that on her website. Go on that, and if you don't have power, if you got power questions, call these numbers, and you may talk to an animated call there for a second, but I found they do get back with you. And they do record your 911 address where they'll know that you're out. And also you can call and get an update as far as your region, your area. If you'll give them where you live at, they will give you a time, of when your power possibly will be restored. Right now, Scott Skinner with the Georgia Power has assured me that by midnight tomorrow night, which that's a long time. But all the power in Dade County should be up and running. Hopefully before that, but that was kind of a drop-dead date for them to have the power back on. So that's a good thing. At least it gives us kind of an idea of when. A lot of you have freezers and a lot of your stuff. I understand that just the biggest thing is to keep your freezer doors closed, because they will hold for several days if you do that. I've had a lot of people panicking on that. Let's see here. If there's anything else I need to go over. If you have questions, like I said, you got numbers here to call about the power. If you have questions, if you do get frustrated or whatever, just call 667-899. Call me on my cell phone, 423-667-8999. I can either answer your question or I'll get you an answer. And same thing on our report that I do every day as I say this. I know you get tired of hearing me say this, but if you miss something or if you got any questions, call me on my phone. Or if you think of anything right now while we're talking, Carrie is recording this right now. She's getting it down. She's getting everything down, and when before we finish up, I come in and we'll wrap up with those questions. Let me see who we got coming up. We have Dr. Jan Harris here. She's going to give us an update and let us know kind of what's going on with our school system. Come on up, Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Rumley. Hello, everyone. I want to start by giving a big thank you to Dade First and all of the community churches and agencies that provided lunches and meals to our students last week during spring break. We greatly appreciate your service to the youth of Dade County. And today we regret that we were unable to deliver the meals, but we will be back on schedule tomorrow. So lunches and meals this week will be delivered on Tuesday and Wednesday. Same schedule, about 4 hours later than normal, and also parents can drive through at Davis or Dade Elementary from 10 until 1 p.m. to pick up the lunches. And tomorrow, the students will receive a pack for 4 meals, even though it's a day late, it'll all be fine. And then Wednesday it will be for 6 meals. So that's the schedule. And we did sustain some damage from the storms last night. Roof damage at Dade County High School field house and concession stand, the bus barn, the county office roofs. And then we had some fences and electronic signs. And we had so many volunteers and people out helping us clean up. And our crew's been working feverishly all day to get that resolved. So thank you to all of Mr. Rumley, the entire team here in Dade County for all that you are doing, and thank you for your support of the children of Dade County.
Brother Tom and Bradford.
Just want to piggyback off what Ted said a while ago. If you don't have to be out, please don't get out. Remember, we're still at a stay-at-home order. People that's getting out and just going sightseeing is causing a lot of issues for some of the volunteer workers, getting the trees out of the road and things like that. So if you don't have to be out, please don't be out. And if you've got to be out, stay out of the areas that are hit, Michaels Road, like Ted said a while ago, Cloudland Estates, Back Valley Road, all those areas. If you don't have to be down in there, please don't be down in there. It's causing a lot of issues. So that's all we have as far as the sheriff's office.
Thank you, Tommy. We appreciate all the help last night from everyone, Sheriff's Department. I think y'all had everybody that possibly could turn out last night except turning the jail loose. I mean, we had all kind of help out here, and we had the of course our road crew. We hit it early and was out till about 5 this morning. We had the fire departments pitched in. Had a lot of people just come in that had chainsaws and got out and helped us. We assigned them to one of our people, Billy did, and it really went real well. We had our buildings open thanks to the school system. They let us have or use the wing at the elementary school. We had anywhere from 10 to 20 people that took cover, had taken cover there. We also had downstairs. We didn't have to use that, but also the sheriff's department opened up the hallway over there for our shelters. So it went pretty well. Our emergency systems seem to work. We've got a couple of adjustments on that, and with the National Weather Service, we work on that. But all in all, we feel good about it, and we fortunately did not have any loss of life. We did have, like I said, 3 people that were injured, and so just hope it's many, many years before we go through anything like this again. I will remind you that, the stay-at-home order as directed by the Governor Kemp, it's still intact, and so please try to stay home, as Tommy and I both tell you. Especially with all this going on, so please, just try to. I know it's getting harder. It's getting harder and harder because I know people's got cabin fever, but it's the right thing to do. Try to wear your mask when you're out, in public. That's recommended by the CDC, Center for Disease Control. And Carrie, have we got any questions?
We do have some questions. The first one is related to COVID-19, and it is, when do you think the shelter-in-place order will be lifted? Do you have any idea about that? And will the restaurants and stores reopen when that happens?
Well, hopefully, April the 30th was actually, from what we've, from what Governor Kemp has imposed as far as the state order. And that is going to have a lot to do with the federal, which is the President of the United States. That's a big deal. I mean, he's the one that actually, it's kind of a national thing. But the governor, governors have a right to impose their own and put a little bit more bite to it. So right now we're looking at April the 30th. Hopefully that we can. I'm not going to say get back to normal. It'll be a long time before we get back to normal.
Okay.
Chad, you got something? Come on up. Have this little man wants to say something here. Come on up.
Hey, I just talked to Alex Case on the phone. He wanted me to let you all know why he's not here today. He's actually currently right now out with the National Weather Service. They're mapping the tract of the storm system, trying to determine if it was a tornado, trying to determine what type of tornado, if it was, and all that sort of thing. He says he hopes to have that update to y'all by tomorrow. So if you can tomorrow, tune back in, and hopefully he'll be able to tell you more about that. But that's why he's not here. National Weather Service is in town doing their surveys.
Okay. Another reason too is because he hadn't had any sleep since last night, like a lot of us. I mean, really, literally, it's hard. It kind of hits you this time of the day. Your eyes get. But anyway, was there 2 questions in that or one?
That answered that question.
Okay.
We have another COVID question, and that was, where was the other case in the county?
Where?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it is actually from what we gather on Lookout Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
The rest of these are storm questions. One is, we actually have a couple who have asked for estimations for power being restored.
Yep.
Which I know you've spoken to before, but could you answer that again?
That's something that they've got like I said, they brought in crews from all over, not just northern Georgia but central Georgia here, and they have kind of a task force. They're actually at the high school right now. That's their staging area. And they actually said that the maximum it will be midnight tomorrow night. Of course, that's the drop dead date as far as that goes. But they feel that of course, different areas is going to be popping up. I talked to some people a little while ago, and their power was back on. But there's a lot of difference in this storm here than just like a regular outage, because there's a lot of broken poles, and the lines are just so mingled. They're not being able to reuse the lines that are there. They're having to restring lines, and it's just a mess. It's really a mess, and especially with all the trees that are down. So it's according to what area they're trying to hit all the areas, because you can register with Georgia Power if you're on a ventilator or a BiPAP machine or whatever that you have to have for breathing. And that's something that you're trying. They will hit those areas first. Those subdivisions that have those patients and all in there, they will do their best to get back, because they know those people are living on a generator right now. So that's another. That's kind of a protocol that they go by.
Another question is, will the bridge over or close to Sales Lane remain open, or is it closing due to flooding?
Sales Lane Bridge. If you're talking about 136, maybe.
136?
Yeah. No, it's safe. I mean, 136, it'll stay open. In fact, this creek's is receding right now, so it's not coming up, so it's going down. But that's as close as I've seen it. Really, since Evan and I was talking about, since we had the hurricanes about years ago that came in, the hurricane that blew in, and we actually seen it actually lapping up there on that bridge. So, but it's safe. It'll stay open. The state will send some people in, I'm sure, tomorrow or maybe the next day, and they will do a review of it, go under it, and make sure there's no structural damage. But I doubt that that'll happen. You know.
Okay, and our last two questions have to do with debris. Will the county pick up large debris if we leave it by the side of our property?
That's something that we pick up what's on our right of way, and we'll if it's there one time when we go through, we'll pick it up.
Okay.
I mean when we work that road and we go through, because we don't have a we're not set up to do that as far as daily or weekly, but the storm debris, if we prefer you to try to get it to our transfer station where we can actually in the back where we can burn it. And actually would be good, if you want to burn on site, that's legal in Georgia. Just get a permit, and they prefer you to do that, on your own property, anything that comes off of it. But if you get it out there to the road when they come through, and I'm not telling you when, because we got to get these roads open before we start back to the actual cleanup part of it. But we'll pick it up and bring it in. Yeah.
And where do they get a burn permit?
You just call Georgia Forestry. There's a number. I'll give that to you. I don't have it memorized. But Georgia Forestry, you can go online to Georgia Forestry. I think Georgia Forestry. .gov, I think is what it is, but it'll go into a web page and it's got all their contact numbers.
Okay, and we can add that to our website as well.
Yeah, we need to. Yep.
So, and the last question is: can people from Alabama bring tree debris to the transfer station at no charge?
No, we don't, because we're not only people we're letting is our local people because because they're taxpayers to start with. But see, we don't have the scales going today at all, and we don't. That right there is we have to kind of we just can't do that.
Okay, that was our last question.
Okay, I appreciate everyone watching us, and we'll if we have anything come up between now and 3 o'clock tomorrow, we'll call it. But try to watch the 4 o'clock update from our Governor Kemp, and we'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And I appreciate everyone working with us last night and today. But do try to stay at home, please. Thank you so much.